What if I told you there is a place that exists just behind reality? A place you don't enter on purpose, a place you accidentally fall into when reality itself glitches. Endless yellow hallways, buzzing fluorescent lights, and rooms that never lead anywhere. This is the world of Backrooms 2026, and once you enter it, there is no guarantee you ever come back. The story begins in 1990. A struggling furniture store owner named Clark, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, is barely holding his life together. His marriage has collapsed, his business is failing, and now he is sleeping inside his own store. But Clark insists on one thing: it wasn't his choice. His wife kicked him out after a violent argument, fueled by exhaustion, frustration, and alcohol. Clark doesn't even deny it anymore. He just repeats one sentence to his therapist: "This is my house. I'm still paying for it." That therapist is Dr. Mary Kline, played by Renate Reinsve, and she is trying to understand Clark. But Clark is not easy to understand, because something strange is happening in his life, something he cannot explain. One night, everything changes. Clark is alone in his furniture store. The lights begin to flicker. The power behaves like it has a mind of its own. Frustrated, Clark goes down to the basement to fix the electrical breakers. He starts flipping switches randomly until he hits something wrong, or maybe something right. Because suddenly, a thin line of light appears inside the wall. Clark stops. He approaches slowly, and without realizing it, he reaches through the wall, and his hand disappears. What he finds on the other side is impossible: a room that shouldn't exist. Yellow wallpaper, wet stained carpet, buzzing lights that never stop humming. And beyond it, another room, and another, and another. This is the beginning of the Backrooms, and Clark is no longer alone in reality. But what he doesn't know yet is this: something is already inside this place, and it has been waiting for him. Clark slowly begins to explore the impossible space. At first, he thinks it's just an extension of his building, a strange basement extension, a trick of light, a hallucination. But the deeper he goes, the less sense anything makes. Hallways stretch endlessly, doors lead back to the same place, and silence feels alive. Then he hears it. Something moving. Not fast, not loud, just present. Meanwhile, Dr. Mary Kline begins studying Clark more closely, because his behavior is changing. He speaks about the Backrooms like they are real, not imagined, not symbolic, real. Mary has her own past too. We begin seeing fragments of her childhood: a strict, paranoid mother, a home where windows were covered, a world where outside felt dangerous. Mary was raised in isolation, and now she studies another man trapped in a different kind of isolation. Back in the Backrooms, Clark meets something horrifying: a creature, not fully human, not fully anything, a distorted figure moving between rooms like it belongs there. And then Clark learns something terrifying. The Backrooms are not empty. They are populated, but not with strangers, with copies. Because every person who enters leaves something behind, a version of themselves, a broken reflection that stays forever. Clark begins seeing them, twisted versions of himself, watching him, following him, smiling when he doesn't. And one of them wears a pirate costume, just like Clark did in his old furniture commercials. And that's when Clark realizes something worse. The Backrooms are learning him. Outside the maze, something else is happening. A mysterious organization called ASYNC begins to appear in the story. They are not just observing the Backrooms, they are studying it, and possibly using it. A researcher named Phil, Mark Duplass, reveals a shocking truth. ASYNC didn't find the Backrooms by accident. They built a way in, a doorway called the threshold. But what lies beyond it was never fully controlled, because once they opened it, the backrooms started expanding. Now Mary makes a decision. Clark has disappeared deeper into the maze, and she goes after him. She enters the backrooms herself. But what she finds is not just a labyrinth, it is something that reacts to memory. Places inside the backrooms resemble real-world locations, but twisted, wrong, familiar yet broken. It feels like reality being recreated by something that doesn't understand reality. And then Mary discovers the truth about Clark. He is no longer just lost, he is changing. Clark begins to believe something disturbing, that the backrooms are better than the real world, because inside the backrooms, nothing changes, nothing ends, nothing judges him. But the most horrifying revelation comes next. The copies are not just shadows, they are becoming real, and they are learning. One of them attacks. A violent chase begins through endless corridors. Mary runs, Clark follows, and something else follows both of them. Something wearing Clark's face, but not Clark. And this is where everything begins to collapse, because reality and the backrooms start merging.
Clark is now fully broken. He finds Mary inside the maze, and instead of helping her, he takes her hostage. He tells her something chilling. I don't want to leave. This place makes more sense than my life. Clark believes the backrooms is his true home now, a place where nothing demands anything from him. But the nightmare is not finished. His duplicate appears, the pirate version of Clark, and it reveals something horrifying. Even humans can be consumed. Even identity can be copied and rewritten. A brutal chase begins again. Mary escapes through impossible corridors. She uses an object from her past, a piece of cement with her childhood handprint, to survive a moment of attack. Memory becomes weapon. The past becomes protection. Eventually, Mary stumbles into an ASYNC facility inside the backrooms. Phil is there, and he explains something shocking. ASYNC didn't just study the backrooms. They started building inside it, expanding it, connecting it, using it. But they lost control, because the backrooms is no longer just a place. It is evolving. Mary asks the only question that matters. Can I go back? Phil does not answer, not even once. And then we see it. Final images, familiar places, the furniture store, ASYNC rooms, hallways, all absorbed into the backrooms, rewritten, rebuilt, recreated. And in the final shot, Mary is seen again, but it is not her. It is a copy, sitting silently inside an endless room, watching, waiting, forever. The backrooms is no longer just a place. It is a system, a memory trap, a reality that copies everything it touches. And once you enter it, it never truly lets you go. Because even if your body leaves, something of you stays behind. So the real question is not, how do you escape the backrooms? The real question is, did you ever leave at all? If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more deep movie explanations and hidden story analysis. Because some stories don't end when the movie stops. They continue in your mind.